Welcome to another episode of RayRants. In case you don't know, or if you've been living under a rock, you should know that I have a coaches community group that meets twice a week live on the internet and every single day on Facebook. I also have a small group of coaches that I mentor one-on-one twice a week, and we talk a lot about coaching and things like that. Now, today's rant is inspired by two of my coaches. One is traveling and dropped into a gym on the East Coast, kind of visiting, and another is from one of my coaches who was at a staff meeting, and yeah, we'll get into that. Basically, I want to ask you a question. Are you a lecturer, a group class facilitator, or are you a coach? Because you can't be all three. You got to be one of the three. We're going to talk about the first two there, mostly, and then hopefully point towards being the third thing, which is what we all want to be, right? So group class facilitator is someone who just shows up, they write the workout on the board, they might demonstrate the workouts, they say 3, 2, 1, go, and then they stand and lean against the whiteboard like this, watching the class go and move. Or if my interns used to do this, they used to lean against the plates, and I used to just yell at them for like, dude, do you not see that there's someone over there you haven't talked to in like 20 minutes? Go talk to them. A coach is someone who goes and interacts with everybody, helps them be better, actually talks to them. They're not on their phone, they're not sitting in a chair, they're not sipping their coffee or eating. Gosh, they are working with the people. They're helping them be better, okay? If you're gonna coach, be present. The other thing that really sucks is that my coach didn't even tell anyone they were a coach. They just showed up for a class, to take a class. And this coach didn't even address them or introduce themselves to this person until the end of class. And like, my coach stood there for like, I don't know how long, wondering what to do before class. And apparently that the warm-up was on the board and it was self-guided. Guys, don't do that. Every single minute of your class should be coach-guided. You should be working. I'm not paying you to be on your phone and eating or drinking coffee in the corner of the room while people are doing their warm-up by themselves. That is your opportunity to watch them move and to start thinking about scaling options. If you're eating or on the phone or fiddling with the music or whatever it might be, or sitting in a chair, I've seen this happen, sitting in a lawn chair in class, that is not okay. You need to be present 100%. Secondly, there is a type of coach who just wants to stand there for 35 minutes and talk about the nuances and the details of movement. Okay, if you want to do that, start a YouTube channel or rant like this, like I'm doing right now. This is teaching. I'm talking to you. There's no two-way feedback here, maybe later in the comments, but right now I'm just going and you're just listening. You're a captive audience. That is not coaching. If you're standing there for half of the class and the members are standing there twiddling their thumbs, wondering when you're going to shut up, you're not coaching. Coaching involves them doing things and you giving them live feedback. That's how this goes. It's a two-way thing. You watch, you give feedback, they apply feedback. You give feedback on their application of your feedback. That's coaching. Teaching and telling them, okay, so we're looking for triple extension with external rotation at this point, and we want to make sure that the shoulders move at like a 95.643 angle, whatever, all that crap. Like, those people are not paying attention to you. Shut up. Show them the movement. Let them start doing things. That's coaching, not you explaining every detail of everything, okay? Also, along with being a coach, number one, if you're going to be a coach, and I make a distinction between teacher or coach or group class facilitator because they're not the same thing, right? In fact, our coaches group just went through like a 5-week series where we talked about the difference between being a trainer and a coach. So if you want to see that stuff, hit me up on the DM and I'll give you information on how you can be part of the group. But we spent an entire 5 weeks talking about that. Now, I've lost my train of thought. Where am I going with this? I'm going to find it. I will. Anyway, I remember now. So if you want to be a coach, you must also be coachable. You must be willing to receive feedback. You can't be so defensive when someone gives you feedback, even if they're wrong. Even if they're wrong. Or even if you think that they're wrong. I've had coaches in my group who have challenged me on certain things, and I stood my ground on it, but in the back of my head, I'm still going to research it. Like, my favorite one is Nikki. Nikki and I disagreed on something on a group thing on Facebook, and then she sends me a DM and says, please don't kick me out of the group. And I go, why would I kick you out? She's like, well, I'm like, no, seriously, don't worry about it. I went home, I stood in front of the mirror practicing what she talked about, and I found it, and I was like, oh, yeah, that could work. Because here's the thing, Coach B says this all the time. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. There's 1,000 ways to explain the same thing. What it makes a cue effective is one that works. So if you say X and I say Z, but it gives the same result, then we both win, don't we? So that was actually a good experience for me, is having someone challenge me and actually say, what about this? And even though I didn't get it at first, I went home and I studied it and I tried to figure it out and I go, yeah, I get it. So really, really important, guys. If you're gonna be a coach and not just be a t-shirt coach, as Julian from StrongFit says, like t-shirt coaches, you have a t-shirt that says coach on it, so automatically you're a coach because it says it on the back of your shirt, you're a coach, right? No, coaches are people who continue to learn, they receive feedback, they act on that feedback, and then they do that to other people. They pay it forward. So don't sit and cry if someone gives you feedback. Don't get all like, get your feelings get all butthurt about it. No, like receive the feedback, analyze it, evaluate it. If it makes sense, then apply it. If it doesn't make sense, then figure out why they're coming from that perspective and seek to understand. That's really what it's about. I say this all the time, right relationships are more important than being right. So even if you don't agree with someone, try to understand their perspective and why they see it that way. Because you're still going to learn something from that. Okay? So, guess the whole point of this RayRant is, number one, that's pretty audacious too to name that after myself, huh? Whatever. Anyway, number one, if you're going to be a coach, be present 100%. Don't be sitting there sipping your coffee, playing with your music, looking at your phone when someone brand new in your gym is there and then you don't talk to them until the end of the class. That makes zero sense. Zero sense at all. Be present. Be welcoming. Go talk to that person. They might be a coach. They might be someone from HQ. I've done that to people before. I walk into a gym. I drop in the class. They didn't know who I was, which was cool. And like at the end of the class, I go, hey, by the way, I work for HQ. I teach seminars. And they're like, oh. I'm like, no, don't worry about it. You did a good job. I'm like, oh, okay. You never really know who's going to come in your door. So treat them with respect. Whether they seem like they move well or they don't. Everyone should be coached. Everyone can get better. Make them fight for millimeters of improvement. Everyone can get better. So don't be that person that's playing with the music, playing on your phone, and ignoring someone brand new in your gym. Just don't do that. That sucks. Don't do that. Secondly, don't be the person that just talks people's ears off for like 35 minutes and then leaves 4 minutes for them to actually move. Don't go do that. Like, let them move. Give them feedback. Help them be more better. And then thirdly, don't get butthurt if you get feedback. Take the feedback, apply it, analyze it. Take what's useful, take what's not useful. But the most important thing is to understand. Okay? All right. See you next time.